LoreWarrior Armour, Vedette Medium Tank. Overview. The Vedette is one of the only vehicles produced by the New Earth Trading Company. During the time that New Earth was researching robotics, another section of the company started producing military vehicles. The Vedette was the first and most popular of these vehicles. The Vedette is a standard unit of measure among military crews. For example, most vehicle crewmen will ask of a new tank, how many Vedettes do you figure that thing is equal to? The Vedette has become a standard because it is a simple but effective vehicle. Mounting only one main weapon and one secondary weapon, the Vedette is considered to be a typical tank. Capabilities. Unlike many modern vehicles, the Vedette mounts only one main weapon. This doesn't make it a less effective vehicle than a newer tank, but does reduce its ability to deal with a wide variety of targets. By contrast, the very popular Manticore tank has a weapon for every combat range, which makes it able to effectively engage targets anywhere on the field. The tank's main weapon is the Armstrong J11 Autocannon, identical to the one mounted on the Shadowhawk. The New Earth Trading Corporation chose this weapon because it is the most weight efficient, has excellent long-range capability, and is easy to replace. The designers did try other weapons, such as lasers and PPCs, but these didn't fit well on the chassis and required heat sinks and power amplifiers, which the tank's size couldn't carry. The scattergun is a small caliber machine gun mounted in the bow of the tank in a mini ball turret, giving the driver an excellent arc of fire. The scattergun fires shells at a very high velocity, which compensates for its small caliber. The Vedette's main selling point then is its speed, which is fast even for a medium tank. Most tank manufacturers ignore high speed for vehicles over 35 tons because 150 plus rated engines are very inefficient. The Vedette can use its speed to great effect by moving into optimum autocannon range, opening fire, and then retreating as fast as possible to another fire position. Most modern tanks, especially medium to heavy, do not use mobility to their main defense. They rely on their armor and firepower to win the battle. The Vedette's communication and tracking systems are Comstar originals. These were developed especially for the New Earth Trading Corporation in return for certain favors, such as food and supplies. Unlike normal Comstar equipment, these two systems have repair and service manuals available. Battle history. One of the battles that has earned mechs their reputations as lords of the battlefield occurred at the Battle of Marek in Marek space. There was a civil war going on at the time, and several companies of vehicles squared off against an equal number of mechs. There were more Vedettes than any other type of vehicle, and there were more than 50-ton mechs than any other type. Strictly on a tonnage basis, the battle was even. The two sides moved into position inside one of Marek's major cities, but fighting didn't break out until both sides had surrounded several units of the other's forces, again, the battle being even. Combat was heavy, and both sides were taking heavy casualties. With superior maneuverability and firepower on the side of the mechs, they eventually began to overcome the vehicle-equipped forces. Once the mech forces had numerical superiority over the ground units, the balance of power quickly shifted, and the mechs totally succeeded in destroying every tank around. Variants. A popular variant of the Vedette mounts an AC-2 in place of the AC-5 and adds a short-range missile rack for short-range firepower. Another variant, popular with loud troops, replaces the autocannon with 2 medium lasers and 6 heat sinks. Notable vehicles and crew. Ronald R. Harrison III and Rich Watson. Commander Harrison and his driver Watson are remembered in the annals of Davian history for their unwavering bravery in battle. Unfortunately, both were killed while acting as a one-man vehicle diversion in a Davian attack against an Overlord dropship on the Marek world of Castor. Walter Lieber and William Serjamus. These two Vedette crewmen mysteriously got behind enemy lines during an important battle on Holt. How they got behind the enemy is still unknown, but they were both promoted to academy duty after the battle. And the Vedette, an odd spud of a vehicle with big windows on the front and this very odd two-tier structure, turret and lower turret, and then the actual wheels, track, chassis bit. It's unique, let's put it that way, and probably not many people's favourite choice, but it is a common sight throughout the Ionosphere as the older Vedette. It's A 50-tonner, tracked, power plant as a low compact 250 intercom bust, cruise of 54, flank of 86 with Protect Tech 6 armour, mounts an Armstrong J11 AC and scattergun light machine gun, manufactured by New Earth Trading Company, communication system Comstar Rover, targeting a tracking system Comstar Test 2. Basically, it translates to a cruise of 5 and a flank of 8. It has a 250 rating engine, which is ICE, so not fusion. It's got an okay amount of armour, 20 points on the front, left and right 18, back is 20, turret is 20, so overall it's pretty evenly armoured across the board. It can take several decent hits, even a single AC-20 before it's exposed, which is not too bad, at least if it's hit on the turret, back or front. And yeah, it's got more than enough ammo for the AC, 20 rounds of firing before it would need to return from the fight. So yeah, these things in number can be quite deadly, especially with the fact that AC-5s have pretty decent range, and there's nothing wrong with a bunch of little points of 5 damage every time, like, you know, just plinking away, taking away armor in important locations, and yeah, just putting the pressure on. These things are comparatively cheap as well compared to mechs. You can get a lot more of them more regularly. So yeah, it's just one of those cases, I guess, of it just being a rather, I don't know, it's an odd-looking tank. There's no denying it. It's definitely not many people's first choice, I think, even in Battletech, of like, oh, tank I want to use. But yeah, it's reliable, so that's the main thing. In universe, as it says, a lot of people have a healthy respect for the tank. So yeah, it's an odd one. I'm sure many people look at it and go, "What the hell is going on with the design?" I wouldn't blame you. Some Dwayne Luce art, which, as we know, Dwayne Luce seems to be a bit of a Marmite. You love him or hate him, his art stuff, and yeah, it's kind of set the tone for that kind of that vehicle. I don't know if they'd ever really made any major overhauls visually with it, but yeah, there you go. The Vedette, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a good week as always, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.